Well, hello there, motherfucker. So, they had an Impact review, right? Well, sorry for misleading you guys, but this ain't a whole Impact review. This ain't a whole Destination X review or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, this is not a full review. I want to talk about the Matt Hardy stuff that I saw on this show. I went and I watched just the Matt Hardy stuff. I went around the internet and I picked out the Matt Hardy stuff and I watched all of it. And I watched the aftermath, the complete deletion, the whole like segments, and we saw the return of the dilapidated boat. We saw the lead, I guess you could say the head of the aerial assault robots. Giving Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, or Brother Nero's last shirt they wore, so he could kind of bury it at sea, a symbolic burial of Brother Nero. Then we saw the like a little private screening room um, uh, that Matt Hardy gave of the final deletion from last week, and you see like this kid, I think it was like his maid's son, like looking at him as Matt Hardy was like he was like leaned over the chair, like looking at his like handiwork, and I was just like, guys, Matt Hardy is doing probably one of the most incredible jobs of playing a character that I've ever seen in wrestling. And like, I know that you weren't back here in 2002. There wasn't even a YouTube yet, 2002, 2003, for when Matt Hardy was version 1 and he was doing all that great stuff on the SmackDown brand during the initial brand extension. Matt Hardy looked like he could have been a huge star back then, but they didn't, he didn't really, I guess, catch on like they thought he was. He had a little bit of an internet following. Back then, I guess when the IWC was a little bit wiser, and they didn't have the Sami Zayns of the world to worship and all that. Matt Hardy was doing a great job then, but I didn't even think that he could take it to this level. And then we're seeing, he comes out, and yeah, Rebby was being a little bit annoying by saying obsolete, but it kind of fits into the whole thing, so I kind of excuse it a little bit. And it's just the whole star here is just Matt Hardy, the accent, the look, everything. Delete. I love when he had like one of his like servants taking some notes, and he kept on saying delete and going like this is the new thing that he's come up with, and the guy is writing in the book delete, and every single time Matt does this, he's doing this with the pen and he's underlining the word delete. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe this is my style of comedy and some people don't get it, or what it is, but I find this to be genius. I hadn't laughed so hard at something in a while, but it's like, not only am I laughing at it, but I think that this is just, it's a great character development. And we've seen characters like Bray Wyatt in WWE, but they're just not being handled well. They're not realizing their full potential. This is realizing the full potential of a character. This is breaking boundaries. You ever thought like, oh, okay, well, this is a cool character, but they're not going far enough with him. They could do so much more. They could go to the next level. They could push the boundaries. What is this guy capable of? What can he do? What can he say? Where can he go? How can he interact with others? And they're doing that all with Matt Hardy. They're pulling no punches with it. This is like this is the gutsiness. See, you see how there's critics and everything, and I'm sure back in the day, like I said, there was critics with Stone Cold. Nobody believed that a bald guy in black tights could overcome his disappointing run in WCW and end up being one of the biggest, most money making stars in the history of WWE. And I'm not saying that Matt Hardy is going to revolutionize the industry. TNA is too far gone. It's going to be kind of hard, but it is inspiring the wrestling world. Like WWE even took notice. When did they ever take notice of TNA? They barely ever take notice of TNA, and they completely ripped them off. You know, they had to have their own little segment because it was so cool, it was so original, and they hadn't seen anything like it. They just had to copy it. They just had to do something with it that at least looks similar, you know, actually very similar, but still not up to the code of quality of TNA and the final deletion. But it was so inspiring. But yeah, it was just all these things, and just I like just like the continuity. It just all fits together. You know, they kept weaving this throughout the show. You had a little segment, then you see Matt out in the ring, and it's just like, where do you see this ever in WWE? Like, where you see like these are people, these are individuals, and they have lives outside of the wrestling ring. We used to get that. We used to go to so many different locations back in the day. For God's sakes, the hardcore title was at an airport. I said that weird. Airport. It was in a laundromat. Um, you know, it even went to Fun Time USA out on Long Island. I mean, like, you know, then you also had like the Undertaker and Paul Bearer trying to embalm Stone Cold, you know, at a funeral home. I mean, there was like so many different locations that the WWE would travel to. You know, even all the way up until like 2008. You know, CM Punk and Chavo Guerrero in the Gulf of Mexico match. I mean, you know, this WWE was showed like these matches could end up in the Mississippi River. They could end up in the Long Island Sound. They could go anywhere. There was, you know, they could go to any place, any location. You had, you know, Edge making fun of Ric Flair getting pulled over by the cops. That was done on a highway. You know, like these were shot from all different places to break up the monotony of the ring, backstage, the ring, backstage, the ring, you know, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. The only time we ever see anything that's not backstage or in the ring is like when a wrestler's at home, cutting a promo via satellite, you know, maybe at the WWE studios or some shit like that. It's like, how tiresome is it? That's why, you know, we got a different location here in the final deletion. We've never even seen a location like this quite like that in WWE, where it was ominous looking, and you know, it was fun to just watch it. You know, let alone the content. You know, just seeing something completely different, something to look at in a wrestling program was completely different. You know, so you could say it's horseshit and everything, but it was different. It was original. It was something it made you watch, even if you didn't like it. Tell me not that you did not watch the whole entire 18 minutes of that whole entire segment that had been woven throughout the show. Tell me that also, you know, you didn't also have your phone in your hand and you weren't checking out Instagram or Facebook or your Twitter feed during that. Your eyes were glued to the screen. Whether you thought it was trash or not, it held your attention. And that is exactly what wrestling is lacking. So I saw that. I saw a lot of continuity. I saw a lot of character development on this episode of Impact. I saw a character that I haven't really enjoyed a character like this in quite some time. Probably the last one was Bray Wyatt or Enzo Amore, for God's sakes, or Big Cass. You know, like just a handful of guys on the WWE roster that show any type of charisma, you know, or say any type of quotables or any types of lines of dialogue that I could remember, you know, like 2 seconds from the moment they're said, basically. So this broken Matt Hardy gimmick, I think it's a great gimmick. And like I said, I didn't even really care what was going on the rest of this show because I know that they were just matches and they're gonna pale in comparisons. I don't know. You know, if this becomes like more and more, you see more and more Billy Corgan, Jeremy Borash, you know, signature stuff being put onto the show besides Broken Matt Hardy. I probably might check out the show. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to kind of put that over in a way. Wanted to talk about what I saw on Impact on Destination X, and it was good stuff. I mean, I compare this to what I saw on Raw, and it was colossally better than what I saw on Raw. I mean, like, here's Raw, and here's like Destination X, just for those segments. First of all, like I said, it was 2 hours. I guess if I watched the whole thing online, it would be an hour and a half. So, you know, like when I DVR Raw, it ends up being like 2.5 hours when you skip the commercials. So that makes it a lot more tolerable. So anyway, it was good. I enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm a big fan of this character.